Well, a very good Monday morning to you, my good friend, wherever I may find you on Facebook or on the Freedom Network. I am connecting with you here today because, as you are probably well aware, it has been announced as of last Tuesday, 6 days ago actually now, that there is going to be an election in Alberta on the 16th of April. And heard a lot of people commenting about what can be done in such a short time frame. I was meeting with a number of people with like-minded political interests yesterday evening, and the biggest concern that people mention is so many do-it-yourself manuals handed out there from so many different organizations saying, here, go do this, here, go do that, here, call that candidate. And as one guy said, I'm busy. When I get home from work, he says, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call all these candidates. We got, 87 ridings in Alberta, and you got, I can't even count how many different political parties that are being represented in some ridings. It gets a little bit inundating and overwhelming for any one person to manage, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. So what can be done? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. As I have probably already made you aware of, I started an organization called Freedom Network Canada. I'm currently reaching out to a number of different individuals and organizations, and as part of the stated vision of Freedom Network Canada, which you can go to the website, exactly that, freedomnetworkcanada.ca, to discover that a little bit further for yourself. But right as listed as part of the vision is to be connecting with individuals, organizations, businesses, to bring a collective transformation based on common interests, values, and beliefs of what we see Canada should be looking like. So particularly as we focus in on this provincial election that we're facing, are we going to sit on our hands again like we did 4 years ago? Or are we going to let the NDP destroy our economy like they did 4 years ago, or they have been systematically doing? Isn't it time that Alberta gets its opportunity? Isn't it time for recovery in Alberta? So yeah, you can just sit there and do nothing. And then complain for the next 4 years to all your friends on social media about how awful our government is. Or, alternatively, you can join me and do one small part as a constituent and get actively involved and put in your little bit, and the next person, your friend, does their little bit, and their friend does their little bit. And pretty soon, there's no heavy lifting for anybody. And we all can upheave this current government, get it out of here, and get the proper representation that Albertans are looking for. So now I say that, and it may sound a little bit partisan, and maybe I'm a little bit partisan, aren't we all? But when it comes to the values and beliefs that I've expressed that perhaps you might share with Freedom Network Canada, as the values that are listed there. And if you have not had opportunity to do that, I do encourage you to go there. But just for interest's sake, I will cover off a couple of key points here for you. And the things that are specifically stated as values that we're about protecting the natural family and its individual members as being the foundation of civilized society and the protection of such in all matters of law, taxation, justice, and education. We're about the protection of marriage as an institution of various religions, and recognize and believe that it shouldn't be tampered and rebranded and changed in the image of some different ideology with a different legal definition. We believe in the protection of all children from any person or organization that would in any way cause them harm, impairing their abilities or potential future abilities emotionally, mentally, and or even physically. We're about the protection of life at every age and every stage, no matter what their apparent ability or inability to contribute to society. We're about the economic freedom and protection of all individuals, families, and businesses that contribute to the growth and sustainability of this great Dominion of Canada, which, by the way, has been our legal name since 1867. We just celebrated our 150th 2 years ago. The protection of all forms of freedom that seeks the same for the well-being of society as a whole. And that one there, in case you're not totally clear, basically what I'm saying there is the protection of all forms of freedom that seeks the same for the well-being of society as a whole. So you could say, well, I'm a pedophile, I have rights, I want to be able to express my freedom as a pedophile. Well, not really, because is that really in the best interest of society as a whole? Probably not. It certainly isn't in the best interest of that young child that you're looking to molest. So, yeah. So it's protecting freedoms. And if you're not sure what kind of freedoms are worth protecting, you can take a look at our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and it's a good starting point. Freedom of thought, belief, opinion, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of association, freedom of your use of the media and the press. All these sorts of freedoms that are spelled out in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms are actually really healthy and useful freedoms for a free and democratic society. Not free to oppress and to hurt other people, but freedom that is good for everybody's freedom. So that's essentially what Freedom Network is about. Again, you can go into the taking a look at the vision. The mission, if you're wondering, of Freedom Network Canada is really to restore the original understanding, expression, and purpose of what freedom is to and for Canadians. And then secondly, it's to protect and defend the rights of Canadians to the full constitutional use of these freedoms. But we will have no freedoms to protect or defend if we don't get out and get active and participate. I think it was Winston Churchill, I could be wrong, who said that we're always only one mere generation away from losing our freedom. Every generation has to fight for freedom. So will you join the fight?